Oh, well, hi, we're live.
So Blake,
Hello?
I just wanted to tell Blake real fast.
Yes.
Blake, I apologize for not being on the podcast, but you did an amazing job. I watched it
You're
while I was
fine.
in hospital.
You're fine.
Ross,
I
none of us
understand.
were even remotely upset.
None of us are remotely upset with you.
I mean, but
don't-
everybody could get a good laugh at watching the video.
it was very funny. I did watch that, and it was very funny.
You were supposed to put all your pain on hold and interview him for an hour and then go to the emergency room.
Yeah, Ross.
In all honesty,
Lazy.
I could have, if we pushed it back a half hour, I could have interviewed him because the doctor didn't come in until like 12:45.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
I got there.
Hello,
They're
everyone.
I got
never
there
on
at
time.
I got there at 7:50. I got out of there at 2:30.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Why does that not surprise you, really? I mean,
Sounds like Womack.
They didn't give me an
Oh,
ice pack. They didn't give me
Jesus,
nothing.
don't remind me of Womack.
You're welcome.
Jesus.
They didn't give me an ice pack. They didn't give me nothing until like 12:30.
That's disgusting.
I remember we'd go to Womack at like
that's not
6
nice.
o'clock in the afternoon and not get home till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, that was Womack, man. You go there.
Oh,
you
we
go
got
there,
people. We got
go there
people
and
making
boom.
comments.
I can't see
Hi,
the
Ray. Hi,
I
Jen.
can't. I
Hi,
was gonna say I
Jeff.
can't see the.
You got to hit the chat.
If you
gotta
if you
hit,
push the chat button, you can go to comment.
Oh,
You're
in
oh,
private chat.
comment.
there we go.
But then it takes all the beautiful faces away.
Hello.
Hi,
Not for me. I'm
Danielle.
doing it on my
For you,
computer.
For Matt, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
So,
For me, it doesn't
Yeah,
okay, everybody hush for a moment so I can explain what we are doing tonight.
Sheesh.
Because we have 5 Tuesdays this month, and with it being September is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month, we are doing what we call round table. We all have had suicide affect us from different points of view. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start with me because most everybody already knows my story. I am a surviving spouse, but I have also watched my child, well, 2 of my children deal with it. I'm going to pass it over to Blake because he is an immediate, and then Blake is going to pass it to Matt, and then we're just going to kind of move around and pass it to who you will.
So just do a quick rundown of
Yep.
everything.
Just,
I'm a surviving child of a military service member passing by suicide. My father, my mom's husband. I've lost 2 friends due to suicide when I was younger. One of them being my buddy Alex, and the other one being my buddy Richard. And I've been through the whole grieving process. Take it away.
So I am in a bit of a unique situation. I've obviously had very close friends and basically people that I would consider family commit suicide. But I'm also in a bit of a unique situation, having dealt with the grieving process of my now wife, Penny, who her late husband committed suicide. I think we're circling a little bit here, but that's okay. And having to deal with it from the step parents' perspective. If I could talk, that would be great. Helping Blake through it as well as Blake's older brother Joey. And then I'll pass it to Rossi.
So I'm a retired firefighter. I deal with PTSD. I am actually a survivor of a suicide attempt. My youngest daughter saved my life and showed me that there is still a purpose. So I'm going to pass it to Timmy.
Me? I guess I've never heard it called a suicide survivor, but I guess that's what it's called. That's what I am. My best friend that we were friends since childhood, back in 2002, committed suicide, and I found him and cut him down from the ceiling, and it was pretty traumatic, and yeah. I still see it in my mind like it was yesterday. So I still deal with it from time. Anytime I see people hanging on TV or in a movie or something, that image pops up into my head, whether I let it out or not. It's there, and I have to deal with it. And I've made, I've had thoughts of my own, but I've never attempted or have tried. I always figured if I was to try, I would just. But yeah. So, Michelle.
I have not directly had lost anyone from suicide. I am a survivor myself, and I have helped many friends who have lost. I had a real good friend last year who lost his son to suicide. That was a hard one. Um, but mainly, I went through it. I went through a phase myself where I thought, you know, it's better if I wasn't here. And my kids are actually what saved my life. If it wasn't for them, I probably would not have went to the doctor, and I probably would not be here.
So
We got some
by show,
questions.
yeah, by show of hands from everyone at the round table, how many of you have actually thought of suicide?
Yeah.
I know I have. I know, yeah. I think all of us at some point in our life, in our names. Oh no, Jen, I was saying, I was trying to answer your question, Jen. One of the things because Jen asked a question that was very, how do you help people who get triggered all the time from the suicide?
Not force them.
Yeah, you can't force them to talk about it because it has to be they have to want to talk about it. You also have to leave them for a little while.
I think it's also important to note that like this is part of the helping process because the less we keep the stigma on suicide, the more we get it out there and make people realize, hey, there are 6 people in this roundtable right now that are all sitting here talking about it. So if you've gone through something similar or you've had similar feelings or you've dealt with similar things, getting it out there and realizing that you're not alone in that conversation. I think that's one of the ways that we want to help is getting it out there. That's kind of why we're talking about it now, especially being Suicide Awareness Month. It's why we're one of the big reasons we're talking about it.
Well, one of the things I want people to notice is 4 out of the 6 of us are male. And this is a big thing that I was thinking about this earlier. 4 out of the 6 of us are male. And this tells me that you guys, and I'm so proud of all 4 of you for stepping up and saying, this is a problem not just for women, but for men also. And for being vulnerable for the time that you're here to talk about it.
See,
Jen, on that aspect, Jen, what you're saying is, and that's kind of what I thought you were talking about, is if talking about it triggers them. There are creative ways. There are creative ways that you can talk to somebody without using the trigger words. Try to find other words to try to just get them to open up and talk to you without, because a lot of times it's certain words like the word suicide will trigger somebody and make those thoughts come into their mind because it puts those thoughts there. So find a creative way to talk about it and get them to open up without actually using those words.
Mommy. Well, and I'll touch on what you said, Michelle. You give them the options. You give them the outlets to reach out to. You don't force them to. When they're ready to talk, they'll talk. You don't use the trigger words. Like Michelle said, you give them other options besides talking because you want them to feel comfortable coming to you. Hey, it's happening again. I can rely on this. I'm ready for the help.
And you know, I not that long ago went through a depression state where I didn't want to do anything. I hid in my closet and I stayed there in a little hole off by myself. It took talking to some people. Rossi's one of the people that I confide into, and a few other people. And I finally, you know, even as a guy with pride, you know, I finally had to go to the doctor and say, hey, I need something to help me get out of this stage I'm in. I feel worthless. I need to feel better about myself. And so I had to get onto medication. And even last week working so much that I wasn't taking my medicine. My best way I can describe it is I felt worthless. My self-worth wasn't there. Medication seems to help, you know, so I need to make sure I take medicine today so I feel like myself again, you know, because it will take a hold of you and pull you under.
I think another important thing, and Timmy kind of touched on this, is being alone is really addictive. When you get into
Yes.
a place where you're by yourself, you only ever want to be by yourself. And so it's like, and that being alone and you know, on your own, that's a dark hole, because the only place there is for you to be is in your own head. And so sometimes having another person there just to drag you out of your own head, sometimes that makes a world of difference. Just having a human being conversing with you. And it doesn't even have to be about anything, but getting you out of your head for just 5-10 minutes, sometimes that makes a world of difference.
Okay,
Yeah, it's that conversation that you can just have about absolutely nothing, you know.
Mhm.
And like you touched on, Matt, being alone is the worst case scenario. But you might have, you know, I have a family. When I get in certain situations, I put myself alone, and that is not healthy either. And luckily, I have people like Penny who could see that I was going through that this past week and has pretty much been kicking me in the ass and saying, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, it's
I'm not playing this
To
game.
touch on what Jen said that she know it doesn't always help, but she was just wondering how you can prevent someone from suicide when you don't know how to help them. To be honest, if they don't want help, you're not going to be able to. If their mind is 100% set to it, they're not going to tell you. They're not going to give you signs. They're not going to open up.
But in the
Um,
counterverse to that, if they ask for help, most of the time they know what they need. If they need somebody to just drag them out of their head, they need somebody to talk out what they're feeling, whatever. A lot of the times they'll know what they need. You just gotta get the conversation rolling. And most of the time they'll figure out what they need.
The thing about it is, if they are asking you, telling you they're contemplating suicide, that is usually their ask for help. That is usually the thing, I need help. The ones that are quiet are the ones that you can see they're they're going into themselves, they're withdrawing from everyone. Those are the ones who you need to be afraid for. And those are the ones that you need to grab by the shoulder, put them in a bear hug, and go, no. I'm here for you. Hold their hand. Do what you need to do. Now, Jen, and I'm going to say, I know you have our number. After we get off this live, if you want some more definitive, because it's really hard without getting into
Specifics.
It's really difficult to talk about.
Penny,
without getting into some specifics.
I have Jen on house party too if she needs to talk about it.
If you want to talk about it, please message the page.
But without going much into detail, one of the best ways to explain it to your child is,
Their
I know your
brain was
kids are older. Your kids are older. So there's a chemical imbalance in their brain. Most depression and things like that are caused because the chemicals inside of your brain are out of whack. And so it's a chemical imbalance, and say it's not something that people can just wish away. Sometimes you can talk that depression away and you can work that imbalance out on your own. But a lot of times when it's really, really bad, you're going to have to get some kind of medication to help that chemical imbalance. And the best way is like Penny says, their brain was sick.
Yep.
Okay, Jen, and I'm gonna say this because this is how I never knew Stephen felt like he was. I never knew anything about it. He didn't act like he was suicidal. There were no signs, and people need to understand there are no dead signs. There are no signs. What everybody says, oh, these are the signs of suicide. Take them out of that game. There are no signs.
It's called the mask effect.
There are and there aren't signs. I mean, it's not fair to say there aren't, but there are some people who the axe just falls, and it's like it's out of nowhere. It's completely out of left field. There's no way to know. But sometimes there are, and so it's important to pay attention to people that are around you, because there are some tells, and then sometimes there just isn't. So it's important to pay attention, because, like, you know, if somebody starts giving away all their shit out of nowhere, that might be a sign something's going on, but they may not do that.
Or they change their daily routine or their demeanor about them.
Yeah.
It could also be something that came on out of nowhere. Like 1 minute they're fine, and the next minute they're done. They're just done. So there's not going to be any signs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to say they're probably teenagers, so Blake can probably better tell you that sometimes teenagers, I know Blake has felt this way, it is like all of a sudden their temperament just goes from up here to bottoming out, and it's like...
Yeah, I've noticed with especially some of the people in my friend group, because sometimes I get friends that are like that, like some of the people that I grew up with. For instance, like people like Richard. I didn't understand it until I got older, that he was showing signs and stuff like that. But once I got older and started, putting two and two together, I started getting better at recognizing things and, being able to pull them aside and talk to them and see if everything's okay or if there is anything that I could do to help. Because I understand life's tough with, especially in this day and age.
Fucking truth.
Life's tough in this day and age. On all of us.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, sometimes you could be having the best day and then it could just drop off. Like something could happen and just drop off. Or nothing could happen and you just start feeling down, which is not bad. It happens from time to time.
And I think that's the hardest.
Could be just your head.
I think that's the hardest part, especially with mental illness, being so closeted and stigmatized. It's because, I think that people that have been associated with All for the 22, we've really opened up that line of, hey, let's talk about it. We've been the first people to say, hey, let's talk. And we are the first people to say, hey, it's okay to be like this. It's okay to have these, these things going on. And, we're opening people's eyes going, oh, crap. Okay, these are signs, because, when Stephen, I never in a million years, because he didn't give anything away. He made plans, which are the first two symptoms, two things are the tells. He was making plans. He was doing things. And, and it's like, we looked at it, and I'm like, no, he didn't do that. And I went through all of the different lists. he never did any of that. And like Matt said, it just happened to be where the axe, and I hate that, the axe fell. And boom, he was gone.
It's like Michael just said. He never knew with his first love because he never saw the signs. Some people are masters at the mask. I'll be the first to admit that I am an absolute pro at putting on a mask. There has been one attempt by myself since I have known every single one of you. And you would have never known that because I am the master at the mask. You see me, I'm smiling, I put on act because for me, I like to help people more than me, so I don't talk about me. So that's my coping mechanism is helping other people. And sometimes that helps me in a roundabout way. But there are times that you don't see it because everybody's got two faces. And I'm not saying that like you're two-faced. I'm not saying that way. But they've got the internal face and then they've got what you see on the outside.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to let you see what's inside, you're not going to know.
My moderators in house party, they pretty much, but like when I get on TikTok, it's the kind of getaway, and I'm always smiling, I'm acting, but inside I'm not smiling.
Timmy,
So just like Jill said,
Yeah.
What closer to
You're
I'm a little bit
in and out a
closer to
little
the
bit, bud.
the out?
Just a hair. I'll touch on what Michelle said. For me, helping others because of being in the first responder field since I was 18 years old, me helping others helps me more than anything. On an aspect of it is too, we're never going to understand truly 100% what people will go through, what people deal with, or even how to prevent it. But we all are here for the same reason, to try to at least curve that stigma. I'd rather spend 24 hours a day talking somebody off of a ledge than to hear that we had a chance and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because people need to know it's okay to not be okay.
it is. And as well,
Everybody falls down sometimes. Now we can either get back up or we can let it keep us down. Sometimes we need help getting back up. And that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back,
And
Jen.
I know it's cliche because I use it all the time, but it's my favorite saying of all time. We are all glow sticks. We break before we shine. I mean, if you truly, honestly understand that metaphor, you realize there's going to be dark days, but when your core is broken, you come back brighter than ever.
Hi, Rachel.
I see Penny twice now.
I
So do I.
thought I was losing it.
Yeah, there's two of you, Penny.
One's frozen, one's not.
Yeah, one's working, one's not. Oh, there we go. And we're
Sorry,
fixed.
my phone tried to ring.
I thought I was hallucinating. The mosquito truck came by.
It was my two personalities. We had to merge back together. It's the Wonder Twins. Whoop. Yeah.
At least they weren't fighting each other.
We were Wonder Twins together. Sorry, Matt only sees those two. Talking about, the different masks we show each other. There it was. The one of the things that, like I was trying to grab this from earlier. Where was it?
Wee woo.
I'm trying to find it. Like Lori said, she just thinks that, her friends are downsizing. That may be true. They may be just be downsizing. But it never hurts to be like that extra person, just kind of show a little extra love and see if they're downsizing, or maybe there's some, different things that are going on, you know, that kind of thing. But we've all seen the tragic effects that suicide does to our different lives. Like I know that for Blake and I, what we have dealt with, like me, I know for me, I'm having to relearn how to grieve because now I'm going to be grieving it. My grief, I'm 17 years out, but no longer will the boys be there. So Blake has had to grieve someone who he never even really knew. And I know for Blake, it's been very rough.
Yep.
And like, he has never shared with me his true feelings
So,
about it.
so can you guys hear me? Am I
Yeah.
still breaking?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So my best friend that committed suicide, I knew what he was planning, like weeks in advance. Um, he even told me what he was going to do, how he was going to do it. I looked up at the archway. There was an archway in his living room, and he had 16 pinning nails, had like 6 of them on each side, nailed really close together, both sides of that archway. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And he told me, and I'm like, dude, don't talk about that, don't do that. And I wish I would have done more, and I try not to blame myself, but I wish I would have done more. I tried to keep him busy for an entire week. He was staying at my house instead of his own. I was trying to do things with the thing. We were together constantly for like a week straight. It's like the one day that I had to go to work and couldn't be with him was the one day that it happened. And it's like, son of a bitch, and I didn't find him, or I didn't actually get to him for 2.5 days because I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't do that. The doors were locked. I couldn't access his apartment. And I went around to everybody he knew. Nobody has seen him. Nobody has heard from him. And I finally, on a Sunday afternoon, I said, fuck it. I grabbed a board, some nails, and a hammer because I was going to kick in his back door. And if he wasn't there, I was going to nail the hole back up, because, well, I'm getting ready to put a hole through this door. Sure enough, when I got in there, before I even seen him, I already knew there's a very distinct smell when someone has been there for quite some time, and it's a smell that I'll never forget. I've never smelt it again, and hopefully I never do. But I just wish I would have done more, and I knew what was going to happen. I knew he was going to do it, but I didn't. I feel like I didn't do enough. You know what I mean?
And that's survivor's guilt, Timmy. You did everything you could. And we talked about this the other day, during your live. You did everything that you could to stop him. And it's like a freight train on the tracks. You can slow it down and try, but if he's in that mindset,
when he got that first chance, he was gonna do it. You know, you slowed him down by some days. But the only way that it was going to stop, that train was going to get derailed, was if he was going to derail it. You tried. And bless your heart, you did everything you could. And I don't say that as a Southern bless your heart. I say that as an actual bless your heart. Because you did try. You tried.
I told him not to do anything like that. That, you know, I loved him, and you know, you don't need to do that. I tried to keep him busy, you know, and it's just, I guess I don't know. I've never had it labeled as survivor's guilt, but I guess that's what that could be.
It is. It's exactly what it is. You
I
know,
wished I could have done more.
and like I'm going to tell this because I've had to do this with Blake. Because Blake told me one time, he looked at me and says, Mom, if I could have done something, and I had to look at him and say, you were 2 months old. What could you have done? You know, and it was like, did I just make it worse? And I'm like, you were 2 months old. You couldn't have made it worse or better. There's nothing you could have done. You know, and I tell people this. I don't tell it because my son, you know, he was only 2 months old.
Bless you.
The matter, yeah, bless you, Blake. The matter of the fact is, 2 months, 2 years, 22 years, or 202 years. You're going to think coulda, woulda, shoulda. Nothing. Yes, I know, Matt.
Oh, Kettle.
I know, and I'm.
You are just as guilty.
I know. And
as I've had more than a few conversations with you doing the exact same thing.
Over the past week. And
yeah,
I know.
And over the past 10 years.
And I know. And like I was telling Matthew, because we are trying to get a certain thing, because I do carry survivor's guilt. And I know I do. Do not black girl me. I know I carry survivor's
Blake
guilt.
started
And that's
it.
why I know what Timmy's going through. And
Sure, blame Blake.
I know what it feels like. Do not Medea preacher hand me. I saw you, Blake Charles.
So I'm gonna touch on.
I was putting my hands behind my head because I know I'm about to be arrested.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna touch on what Timmy said. We don't know about the survivor's guilt. Like it's not put out there. As a firefighter, not being able to save somebody, not being able to give them that opportunity to go back to their families. That's where a lot of the first responder PTSD comes into place. But you were talking about the smell. I'm just giving you forewarning. Certain things will still trigger that. There's certain things that I can't smell because of having to recover a decomposing body or a burnt body that I can't smell without it making
a specific song triggers the thought every time, because I know for a fact he was listening to this song when he did it. It was Linkin Park. In the end, it doesn't even matter. And every time I hear that fucking song, I see everything all over again. I feel everything all over again. And I still have his actual CD that he was playing when he did it, but I won't listen to it. I don't even actually. It's packed up in storage, and I don't know per se exactly where it's at, but I know I still have it. But I won't listen to it. And every time I hear that song come on the radio or anything like that, it triggers, and it sucks. I relive it every time.
And that song was actually Chester reaching out for help. And I hate to say it, but that song is one of the most common songs that people listen to before they do it.
You know, and he drove me crazy with that song. I'm like, dude, let's listen to something else, you know? And he kept turning it on and kept turning it on. For that entire week, I was trying to keep him busy. We were working on my truck in the garage, and he just kept replaying it and kept replaying it. And it's like, dude, let's listen to something else. Because, I mean, it's imprinted in my head now for definite now. But, yeah, it was, that was the song. And it drives me crazy.
Well, and you know, I understand how that feels because, like, my son, and I hate this because my baby, he wants to wear Stetson, but he knows he can't. He can't wear it in the house because if I smell it, I spiral because it's a trigger. Because that's
Blake,
what his dad
get Diesel.
wore. I can't.
Oh, I ain't trying to kill my mom.
I can't wear Diesel.
Diesel is actually a good smelling cologne.
No, the thing is.
Oh, okay.
The cologne, not the
not Diesel fluid.
Like I'm not trying to have me kill my mom.
And not the alcohol either, because I highly don't recommend drinking Diesel the alcohol either.
I mean, like
I'm underage. I can't have it anyways.
I mean, he either found or somebody gave him a bottle of Stetson, and he likes the way it smells on him, but he knows he can't wear it in the house because I cannot handle the smell of it. Somebody walks past me in Walmart with it on, and I lose my crap. So you can only imagine someone who looks like their father and now smells like their father. I would lose it. You know,
like I can't come home after I get done with a PT day without her yelling at me to go take a shower because I smell like him after a long days of work. Like, I'd come home and I'd be like, hey, Mom, I'm home from school and stuff like that.
Shower.
And it's instantly, get in the shower.
And like Matt, on days when they'd have, they'd be in the working on on their vehicles at the shop. He'd come home smelling like, fuel and oil, and I would look at him and go, shower. Because my late husband was a mechanic, and smelling that, it was like, no, I can't do this. Go take a shower.
Jen, if you put in chat that you had to get rid of a child, that's proof that can be held against you. So let's rephrase that.
Yeah, let's put that in a different lingo there. Yeah, see, Lori, I felt that like I have not been able to smell Stetson since Steven died. And like you were saying, Timmy, about songs, it was probably 4 years ago was the first time I was able to go to a Lone Star concert. And I cried when they played because Amazed was Steven and I's song. And he played I'm Already There right before his last deployment for Joey. Blakey was still inside my tummy. So it was, one of those, I hadn't heard them for the longest time. And I went with Matt. And that was the first time that I was able to listen to them without completely breaking down. I actually have pictures with the lead singer and the guitar player from Lone Star. I was really proud of myself. But it's those songs that just, you can't ever hear them again.
See, and my friend Jeff, his name was Jeff. He used to wear Polo Sport, and I can't. It reminds me of him.
Yeah.
And that's not so much as a trigger like the song from Linkin Park is, but it still makes me think of him, you know?
Well,
It does.
and women are so much more attached to the different things, especially when it comes to smells. I don't know why us women attach to smells so damn well.
Girls are weird, man.
Yeah, like Jen
Excuse
said,
me?
Timmy smells so good. Jen said that.
But
Uh,
Blake, honey, did you think that you could get away with that comment just because there's only 2 females in this live?
I'm just saying, y'all are weird. I'm not saying we're not weird. I definitely know we're weird.
I was getting ready to say, they're the only things on planet Earth that can scratch their balls and then smell their hand.
That's for bodily health.
Back on track, back on track, back on track.
And
We're spiraling.
I'm just saying. Lori, I would love to, but we are only allowed 6 on the plan that I have. So yeah.
Lori is a friend of mine from Washington, and
Yes.
I think she said it was like 4 years ago her husband passed away, and and she's still dealing with it. It wasn't by suicide; it was by natural causes, but yet she still is grieving.
Yes,
So
Lori,
Hi, Jazz.
I'm
Now my wifey and my daughter are in the chat.
I'm telling you, Lori, you should definitely message the page, because we are wanting to do more lives with more people that are not just battling grief, but different things.
It's
Different
like
health.
Timmy was just saying about Lori, and y'all were talking about songs and smells. I can get that. It wasn't by suicide, but my mother was my best friend. And to this day, there's things that I can't hear or see or stuff like that without losing it.
love
But
your face, man.
when it comes to her perfume, I had a really good friend in Dallas have some shipped overseas for my birthday just so I could have what is my favorite perfume because it was my mother's and it smelled like my mother. So I opened this gift and there's 5 unopened bottles of perfume that is no longer made, and it's the best gift on the planet, yet I'm bawling like a baby because for the first time in years I was able to smell my mom. So I mean, there's things that I am incapable of doing, but there's things that I have been. It brings back those memories for me, the good memories, not the memories of her final moments in my arms. It brings back the good times, the years and years. I had the best mom on the planet. So I mean, but there's things that I just no, no.
Well, and like one of the things I definitely wanted to definitely touch on is, like, I wanted Matt to explain this, because he never knew Steven, but he has had to see the boys and I and how we function from the grief, and has essentially, I love Matthew and what he has done for us in certain elements, to help us remember Steven. He has done things that has gone above and beyond what a second chance, spouse I ever thought of. But as that second chance spouse, that second chance person, you wonder, Matt, what did you I'm gonna ask this question just because it really made me wonder. At 19, because yes, he was 19 when I met him. What did you think you were getting into when I
Dude.
told you that? Hey, by the way, their dad, my late husband, is dead.
How badly you want me to peel the layers back on this?
Don't
It's
hurt
an
my
onion, honey. Peel the layers away. It's an onion.
Because the answer is not going to paint me in an attractive light. I mean, what it boils down to is I had no idea. Again, I was 19. I had no fucking idea. Why would I? This is such an unusual situation to be in the first place for a 40-year-old. How would a 19-year-old know what I'm doing? So it was a lot, and it was a lot of adapting on the fly and trying to figure my way through things. And I didn't always do everything 100% right, but I always try to do what I thought was right.
We're men.
And I
We
can
never do.
honestly say it's been 9 years, so
Yeah,
obviously.
If you're gonna let me talk, because I'm not done.
Okay.
It's a really weird position to be in because I'm compete. I almost feel like at certain times I'm competing with a man who can't fight back. But it's like he's stuck frozen in time of that moment when he died and the moments before it, and he can't fuck up anymore. There's no more mistakes that can be made. I'm still liable to fuck up. So it's a really hard and it's like I had to really work to get over that of like feeling like I was competing. And I still do to some extent sometimes. And it's a thought I struggle with because
Look at it this
not
way.
easy.
You're not competing. You're making new memories.
I know that. I 100% logically me knows this. This is not up for debate. Like I get it. I got it. But it's
monkey
like
brain emotional.
Yeah, monkey brain emotions doesn't get shit like that.
I get him. I understand.
Thank you.
Well, and what him and I had the talk of, I don't compare them.
No, and I didn't want to imply that you did.
There's obvious similarities between the two, or I wouldn't be attracted to both of them. I mean, there is no way in hell I can, compare a 5'6" Mexican and a 6'2" white boy. Not even close to similar. I mean, because if y'all are looking at Blake and you are looking at Matt, no, Blake looks just like his dad, and Matt looks like Matt. There's no way in hell that you can look at them and see the similarities. Blake looked like we adopted him from Mexico. I mean,
he's not wrong. If you look at his brother looks like he could be my kid.
Literally, stepdad, pasty, mom, pasty, brother, pasty. You can see him in the dark. Mm-hmm. Me,
Blake,
I'm brown.
I'm brown. Yeah.
You just had to be the unique one, Blake. You're
I'm the token
unique.
Mexican guy of the family.
He's not even unique. He's a carbon copy of his father.
So,
I'm the token Mexican guy of the family.
Here's the way that his brother, when he was little, it described it, because Joey was a month premature and Blakey was on time. God left Blakey in the oven long enough to get the color. Joey was not left in long enough. But, Matt made sure that Matt wasn't in on that inner ripple. He was on the outer ripple.
I gotta say, I like what Lori just said. She said, Blake, you're not brown. You are sugar-coated with a different race.
I didn't even read that. Yes.
I gotta give her props on that one.
And it's so funny because, Jen, if you knew our family, we are all the oddballs in the family. Ain't none of us Like, not odd.
Yeah, but I'd like to say that I'm the oddest of the family. I'm just the crackhead, though. I'm the crackhead of the family.
Greg the Gremlin, enough said.
Tater salad.
But, like, you know, as far as, like, Steven being the rock and the ripples, you know, Matt's on the outside, and he had to find ways to kind of mitigate and to remind us that, yeah, we have those waves and those, you know, things coming at us, but to remind us that we were all in it together. You know, there was room, as to put it, he put it to me one time. He reminded me that there was enough room on the door for all four of us, plus Steven. He said it one time, and I looked at him, and I didn't get it at first, and he looked at me and went, Titanic. You know, he was like, there was more than enough room on that door for, you know, Rose and Leo. And I'm like, oh. And
I mean, Jack.
Well, Jack.
It's Jack, Mom.
It was Leo. Leonardo
That's
DiCaprio.
his real name.
That's the guy's
And
real
if
name.
Rose had skipped a few more cocktails, they definitely would have full fit on the door.
But no. She wanted to go, help.
Well, she was a rich girl. Of course she didn't skip anything.
No, Lori, you have not seen Blake in crackhead mode.
Oh, yeah, you don't.
Because he can definitely go into crackhead mode.
Potato salad.
Oh, dear God, no. Not. Wait until we're on TikTok Live. That is too funny.
But I think we've gotten a bit off track here.
Oh, Lord, yeah. So, but it is, you know, by looking, you know, and like I've seen Timmy. No potato salad, Lori. It's
Focus.
We'll have to explain. I'm answering her question. Thank you.
Jasmine, we'll talk later.
Yes. The thing about it, you know, with survivor's guilt is we can't. I know with my survivor's guilt, I know logically up here, all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas in the world, it still would not have stopped him. But in my heart, in that monkey brain that, you know, holds all of our emotions, my heart doesn't want to let go. That there's something I could have done to change the outcome. Because in the heart of hearts, we want to think that we can love someone enough that they can stay.
Unfortunately, love isn't always enough, because if they don't love themselves enough, we can't love them enough to make them stay, because it's got to come from them too. It can't just come from the outside.
There was nothing I could say or do that was good enough to change Jeff's mind on what he decided. Because I tried. I didn't want to press the fact. I think I was more in denial, and to ignore what was actually happening. You know, and I guess that's part of the survivor's guilt. You know, sitting here going through it in my head over and over again, different scenarios, and I can't change it now. It's all. This was in 2002. It's been almost 20 years. Almost 20 years that happened. You know, and yet still 20 years later, I'm still wondering what else could I have done.
And the hard facts is nothing. No matter what we say, no matter what we do, no matter, you know, how much we loved those people, nothing we said, did, it wasn't going to change the output, you know, and that's part of the reasons why we, as all for the 22, that's why we're here, is we're trying to stop them before they get to that spot, because I've seen it, you know. I'm very, very thankful, because I do know someone confided in me that they didn't want to put our family through losing someone else, you know, because we'd already had enough trauma. And I know is that there were a lot of times where I looked at my kids and said they don't deserve to have two dead parents. And, even mom said, my daughter came out and saved me. And I'm sure if you asked anybody that's in the room, that's in the actual room who's not on camera right now, who saved you, 90% of the time, if they've got kids, they're going to say it's their kids. If they're married, they're going to say.
One of the people that's not my kids that saved me is actually in the chat right now.
And I know Blake, I can probably guess that I'm the person he saved, because, that saved him in the several times, because he may not say it out loud, but I know he's thought about it.
You and Joey, yeah.
And I know that he doesn't want to put me through losing a son.
Growing up, I really felt like I was to blame because, in my head, I put two and two together, new child in the house that he has to take care of. Not only that, but also a lot of his medical problems and stuff like that. I thought I was the boiling point growing up once I finally started understanding things. And I kind of blamed myself growing up. And I knew if I would have done that, Mom would have probably lost her battles, and Joey wouldn't have been too far along off. And I didn't want to put my family through that because they didn't deserve it. They've already been through enough. And as I started growing up and understanding it wasn't my fault, he had his own demons and he had his own battles, I kind of started to realize it wasn't my fault. And that wasn't as much as my problem anymore when it comes to like my mental stuff like that.
Jen, it's Rachel. It was before I knew you, Jen. It's Rachel in the chat.
So I just want to let Timmy know. Timmy, you never get over it. It doesn't get easier. It's how you handle it and how you move forward on that.
And see, like everybody was talking that your kids saved, and thought about it. My son's mother has been since he's 12. So I'm all he's got. And that by itself, keeps me doing stupid. Even to the point where when I go out on a bike ride by myself, I know not to do anything stupid because I may not come back. And my son, his teachers have called school because he'll get frustrated, and he's used that and said, I just want to kill myself. And because he feels like he can't do it. Sometimes I struggle with, how do I handle this? Because I've already dealt with this once. If I lost my kid, I don't know what. So, yeah, I struggle with it.
I'm going to tell you right now, what you just said there is my worst nightmare. That is my worst nightmare, because Richard, he's autistic. There came a time when he was, I think, in kindergarten or first grade. He actually told me, Mommy, I wish I would die so God can bring me back to where I'm not different. Because he was being bullied and he would rather die than be different. He does not think like that anymore, because he has embraced himself and everything, and now his puzzle piece makes him smart. But it pissed me off. And it because it brought this new fear out of me that I had never felt before in my life. And Mama Bear came out, and I put a stop to the bullying like that. I'm like, no, because my 5-year-old son should not tell me I want to die. That should never
Right.
come out of a child's mouth.
No.
And I'm like, no. And that is my absolute biggest nightmare. Because it's so he's already got one neurological condition with the autism. How prevalent does that make depression and anxiety and things in someone like that? And I don't want outside forces trying to make it worse. But I know that it can happen. And what if I don't catch it next time? What if he doesn't say it? That it. Mm, mm. So
Yeah,
my kids, I made it very clear that I don't care what it's about. You can come to me, no matter what.
Yeah, my father didn't give me a whole lot in life to live, like actual decent life advice, but he told me one of the smartest things that ever came out of his mouth was, "It is the most unnatural thing in the world to bury a child." It's the most unnatural thing, and it's like, so that has always been in the back of my mind, and that is such a legitimate and horrifying fear of, you spend your whole life trying to keep your kids alive, and then it's like they get to a point where they've got their own thoughts and feelings and everything else, and it's like, now I have to work twice as hard to make sure they stay alive, because now they're having all that stuff from the outside and all of whatever they're dealing with, and it's like, I'm not trying to keep him sticking a fork in a light socket anymore. Now I'm trying to make sure that his mind is okay, and it's terrifying.
I actually 12. Yeah, own thoughts and feelings now. I don't have to worry about him drinking poisonous things underneath the sink. Now I have to worry about the bully and being around bad influences and doing stupid things like pointing a gun at someone.
Yeah,
it's a toy gun, but he does it all the time. I hope you never point it at the wrong person.
Yeah.
Because children have died that way.
Yep.
I think the hardest thing for me is I literally told Matt, I looked at him and said, heaven forbid if either one of my children go before me. And I told him, I said, because I won't make it to be around for the other child. I said, I will die if one of my kids dies. And he was like, why? I said, because I can't. I just can't. I've already lost so much that my soul, my physical body might be here, but my soul won't.
If my son ever did anything like that, or even if I lost him in any way, shape, or form, you're going to have to put me on suicide watch, because I'm not going to know what to do with myself. I'm not going to be able to concentrate.
Well, Timmy, we all know where you're at. We don't mind coming and handcuffing you to a shower.
It's not even that.
I think that's pretty much where all of us would be.
There's that smile, Timmy. Thank you. And
Hold
Lori, honey, you hurt my heart. Oh my Lord, you have been through so much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, honey. I love you, honey.
Yeah. Lori, you are my hero. My God, I don't know how you're still standing.
Like I read that whole thing, and I am just like, oh my God, this woman should be lifting tanks by now. Like they always say, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. That woman needs to be bench pressing tanks. Because God has obviously given her the strength of all the apostles.
But yeah, Timmy, we ain't going to let nothing happen to you, because you got whole families watching over you, baby.
Can we rephrase handcuffing you
in
into
more
a
ways?
shower?
No.
Like I'm pretty sure
He
Timmy
knows.
doesn't want to be in prison.
Said,
He knows. He knows why I said that, which is why he smiled. He knows exactly why I
It's a
said that.
loving and endearing kind of cuff to a shower.
I'm just gonna put that.
Oh, it's loving and endearing kind of cuff to the shower. Okay, Michelle, you got to tell me this story later.
Do it on the group chat so we all can hear it.
Yeah, right.
Let's just say
When
there
we're
have been
done with
some
the-
fun house parties.
When we end
Oh,
the
Lord.
broadcast, no one leaves.
Except Blake. Blake
we're-
can leave.
Yeah,
I don't
Blake,
want to
yeah,
be
no,
here.
you
I don't.
can't.
I don't want to be there.
Blake, at that point, you got to leave
Bye.
the group chat.
Jen's like,
You're too young for that.
yeah, Blake's too young for TikTok.
Pretty sure
After
I've heard
dark.
worse, but I still don't want to hear it.
Fair enough.
Smart man.
I will pick my battles, and that is not one of them.
Oh my lord. So, you know, like, and that's one of the things that I so absolutely love, like, finding out about this and, you know, several other things is we are taking the top off of the stigma. Have you guys noticed the more we have talked about not only our own personal, but, you know, confided in each other and the people that are on here, everybody's been peeling back their own little onion and opening up about what they've experienced in not just death, but suicide, you know, not just suicide, but in death and what we've dealt with and what we've kind of.
I just have to say, I promise I'm not over here having seizures. I'm in Texas, and we have Texas-sized mosquitoes.
Honey, I understand.
I'm in Florida, and we have Florida-sized mosquitoes.
Those are called alligators.
And
Iguanas.
Michelle's are called crows. They're birds that can pick up and take off chihuahuas. Honestly, Rachel, and I'm going to tell you, from my point of view, being able to talk about it, it is my therapy because it allows me to know Steven is not forgotten. Because
Hey,
the one-
Rachel, you're part of the reason I can talk so openly is you. Because you taught me that I can talk to someone openly.
And that, exactly. What Blake probably has learned from me that it is okay to talk about it.
Honestly, with my grieving process and everything, I took it weird. I took it as you're either gonna laugh about it or you're gonna cry about it.
I worked
For the
very
first few
hard to
years-
teach that.
For the first 3 years, I cried about it. I'm not even gonna lie. I cried my heart out. And then as I started to get older, I grew a very dark sense of humor.
That's why Dad's hanging out
Thanks,
in the
Pa.
garage.
Hey, that
But-
talk goes in the dumpster. Anyways,
Oh, are we gonna
Yeah.
jumpstart?
No, that's enough. Let the boy talk.
but
Michelle, get the spoon.
I grew a very dark sense of humor at times, and I chose to laugh about it. When I could have very much became a ball of emotions, and I could have been stuck down with my emotions, and not have moved on with my life goals and stuff like that. But I chose laugh about it, make jokes about it, cope with my own ways, and figure out how to do it.
I do that same thing with dark. It's kind of how I deal with it. So I'll make a joke just to turn something serious to something.
Okay, Lori, if you ever want to talk, our 888 number is on Facebook.
It's also on the scroller.
It's also on the scroller. If you want to talk, we may not know you, but we are here to listen.
And I want to put a bit of a unique perspective to Rachel's question. And this is for the men in the room. It was really hard to get over that pride. you know how they say pride comes before the fall, and it's like, man, it's like, you know, man up, deal with it. You know, you've got other things you got to take care of. You're the
a
man
boy,
of the
or
family. You're in
you're a
charge. You know,
boy.
it's like,
You know, you're not supposed to cry. You're
yeah,
not supposed to have
all
emotions.
that shit. And it's like, that is so hard to get over. And it's like,
No.
you want to bottle everything up and keep it all in because you've got other shit going on. And it's like, that stuff will kill you.
And
You
you
let it
know,
beat you down,
I was dealing with that. I was dealing with that while I was sitting in my hole, where I would just, at times, just burst out in tears just because I don't feel right, you know, and I get really emotional, and it's like I shouldn't be like this, you know. I should be a man and suck it up, buttercup type shit, you know. And it's like I finally had to convince myself that I need more than just my pride to get over. That's why I had to go to a doctor. Get something. I was like, I don't care what it is, just give me something to get through this. Because I'm not feeling it.
As
I
a
don't
woman, I'm going
feel
to say
worthy.
this. As a woman, I'm going to say this. To me, a man showing weakness is a stronger man than one that acts like he's just all big and bad and can handle anything in the world. The ability to show your emotions and to admit that something's wrong makes you a bigger man than pretending like everything is perfect.
Yeah,
And
but then
Blake,
again,
honey, you're 17 years old and you've already come to the conclusions that you have and learned how to handle so much. I have got to give you props because you are at a point in your life and understanding emotions and grief and things that a lot of men never reach. And you're there at 17. It already gives you so much more room to grow as a man. And I gotta say, you know, way to go, kiddo. And Penny,
Yep.
Matt, y'all must be doing something right.
We're trying.
they try their best.
You know, and it. I didn't have a recent death that helped push me into my depression more than where I was already because of my previous relationship and dealing with things with my kid. And there's just so much going on. Having cabin fever because I'm sitting at home being a full-time dad and not out working like I'm supposed to. So that kind of hit me in the pride button. And, you know, and then the whole drama between me and Jacoby Ray. You know, I just lost my 18-year friendship. So basically, he died today.
Yeah, you had a death.
And
It just wasn't a physical death.
it wasn't a physical death, but it's something that I won't back. It's not coming back ever. But I lost another really good friend of mine. Even though he wasn't the best friend that I needed, but he was still my friend, you know. I was more of a best friend than he was, but that doesn't matter. It was the plain and simple fact is he was my friend. I'm the type of person who cherishes my friendships. That's why I tell all my moderators, Michelle, and all of them, Kenny, and that
Love your face.
no matter how high I get in TikTok or this world or how much money I have, I will cherish all of you guys because you're my people. And I grow attached to people like that, you know? And when I lost my ex, now I lost my friend, and then I'm dealing with the mental issues with my son, all the troubles he's going through mentally, physically, and he's hitting puberty now, and and basically he doesn't have a mom, and it's been a lot going on all at once, and it hit me pretty hard. And so 6 months I was in that hole. Not so much as always sitting in the closet, but I was in a hole in my head. I was just lost, and that's why I had to get out, find help. And I reached out to Rossi. I reached out to Kenny. I reached out to a few people and kind of opened up to them a little bit to kind of, I don't know, get some things off my chest, I guess, to get a new perspective from a outside view. So I've dealt with quite a bit in such a short period of time, and it's okay because I did find help. I haven't gone, and I am doing better now. So I've been working through it. It's baby steps, of course, but dealing.
Well, and I've always told Timmy, and I tell this to a lot of people, that mental health, it's not about forward all the time. It's about movement. Sometimes mental health is a cha-cha. Because sometimes you're going to go 2 steps forward, 2 steps right or left, and 2 steps back. But
Sometimes you'll do the hokey pokey.
Yeah, as long as you keep moving. As long as you're not going stagnant because you're sitting in the same place.
And never rush it.
Ross, are you okay?
His foot's hurting.
I saw that look of pain.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
Don't you lie. His foot's hurting.
It is.
Do you need to go so you can go take some medicine?
Probably, yeah.
You want me to kiss it, make it
Okay.
feel better?
You go on, and you go.
You go take care of yourself, Ross.
You might get a
We
grill,
got-
Timmy, with all the staples that is in my leg right now.
You go take yourself some medicine.
Yeah, because I can't get to my office to do this, I came outside and it
You
at the
can't
moment-
get comfortable.
I am not comfortable.
Well, go get comfortable. Put your leg up so you can get that swelling down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No more trips to the ER, man.
Right.
Quit trying to be Tony Hawk as well.
I'm the Make-A-Wish version of Tony Hawk. Get it right.
Oh no!
Listen, I do not
Need
need
water?
neck brace necks. I
And
do
a beer.
not need,
You need water?
full body harnesses. Go get comfortable. Take care of yourself and get that
Yeah.
foot up.
I'm hoping that Thursday, when I get the actual hard cast and the staples out, that I can
Jason, please get a hold of us.
start getting back to normal. But
Also
Yeah.
22 on Facebook. Please. We do not need what was the chick that was always in the cast? In like all the 80s movies, there was always that one person in the head to toe cast.
Oh yeah.
She was always in like the full body harness.
That was the old way they used to fix scoliosis.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They were the scoliosis cast. I'm not bullshit. That's what it was.
And actually doing the loop-de-loop and pull.
like Rossi is gonna be that person.
Bubbles.
True.
yeah, so September and October of every year, I need to be put in a bubble.
I'm telling you, I'm buying bubble wrap, and me and Matt are gonna make a trip to Florida every year in September and October, and we're just gonna wrap you up and bring you back to Tennessee until you're done.
I mean, last
Yeah,
October, I hurt my
I
shoulder.
call dibs on rolling him down the hill.
Ross,
We're trying
you
to get
cannot
that
hurt yourself in September
He's
or
in bubble
October
wrap,
next
he'll be fine.
year because you need to be able to go to the meetup, the reunion next year,
I know.
and it's in October, so
That's
no
what I'm
more.
saying. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. I
yeah,
got to be put in a
people,
bubble.
we may
This
have
is
to-
2 years in a row. So I injured my shoulder in September of last year. Because of COVID, they couldn't do the surgery till January of this year. I recovered from that, and physical therapy ended in May of this year. And then now this.
Lord.
North
I
Carolina.
remember going through all your shit with your shoulder. I remember
I
all
know.
shit back in January.
Ross has been
I forgot about that till
a
you
year
just said
now.
that we went through you. You went through all that shit for your shoulder.
So
back
now
in
I did this, and it's 8 to 12 months recovery because of what they had to do. Because I mean, obviously, if I'm gonna mess it up, I'm gonna mess it up.
You didn't do it
Toby's
half-assed.
family.
I respect the hell out of that. You didn't do it half-assed.
Lori, we're talking about Toby's family reunion. Is what we were discussing. They call me Toby too. The family reunion he does every year is what we were discussing in North Carolina.
I am 4 hours and 10 minutes.
I'm gonna tell you, when it comes
If he
to
lifted
Ross,
his leg up, his leg would wave at us.
when I tell you,
Oh shit! I about fell.
Oh my God, Ross!
Don't die.
You told me to lift my leg up.
We just told you not to hurt yourself anymore,
I said
man.
if he lifted his leg up, his foot would wave at us.
Hey, I'm just trying to figure out what, like, okay, I think I have one more stunt in me.
No.
Like extreme mountain biking.
No.
Like that.
No, I will send your wife the wooden spoon.
Well, I have guns, but
You don't bring a gun to a knife fight. It's just unfair advantages.
Oh my God.
Don't bring a wooden spoon to a gunfight.
Fair. But
I mean,
still.
in all honesty, yes, it was a bad decision to get on a skateboard for the first time as a 41-year-old. I probably shouldn't have started out the whole thing. Hey, let me set my beer down and give me the skateboard.
Oh, God.
It didn't end well. But in my defense, the whole process lasted 3 seconds. The first 2 seconds were great.
Any event that starts with
hold my beer, watch this, it never works.
It never goes well.
Here, hold my beer is not the way to start anything.
Hold on, I need to say this. Sorry, everyone. We lost connection with Facebook for some freaking oddball reason. Hope everybody is back in. So I want to say this. When it comes to Ross, he does not do any injury half-ass. It is all or effing nothing. That man fucks himself up all the way.
I mean, the September before the shoulder was my ring finger. I dove back into first base, and my ring finger was literally here. I popped it back in place, took my wedding ring off because it's going to swell, and then went right back into the game. Even when I did my shoulder during the game, I moved from first base to shortstop.
Dude!
Just saying.
Are you okay, Blake?
I think Blake just vomited.
Penny, show Blake the video of my leg.
I'm morbid like that.
No,
I'm morbid.
Blake,
I'm morbid. I want to see this video.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Blake, have your mother show that to you, but she has to record your reaction.
It's a TikTok.
And this is Blake with his TED Talk.
That's like a two girls in a cup. Like,
oh,
Timmy, no.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You went there.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but until you heard last night's conversation with Jen Ramsey, that honestly puts Two Girls, One Cup to shame.
Okay.
You guys need to start sending me
back on
invites.
track. Back on track. Back on track.
You guys need to start sending me invites on house parties.
We're done.
Okay.
Blake, y'all need to see this reaction.
Hang on. What's up?
Blue waffle.
I said back on track, not further off.
But I'm going to jump off. I just took ibuprofen. I'm going to go take my pain pill, and I'm going to prop my leg and go to bed.
Okay.
Right,
Get you feeling better, Ross. Love your face.
All right, brother.
Love you, darling.
Have a good night. Love your face.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Matt, quit. No, I am not loving on you. I am busy.
me and my husband a lot of times.
What I want love it.
Yeah, thank you. That's my ear. That's my headphone.
Yeah, see, that's me and my husband a lot of times.
God, the
I am
things it takes
busy
to get hugs around here.
not trying to love on you. Like,
That wasn't the husband. That was the dog.
But yeah, like Timmy, you are just absolutely amazing. And I've told you, I don't know how many times, if you need to talk, I'm always around.
And you know where to find me.
Obviously,
I know.
shower.
I know it probably doesn't mean much, especially coming from, someone my age and from my background.
Nah. Stop it right there, young man. I will reach through this phone and smack you. It does not matter about age. If you are willing to be there for somebody, you're willing to be there. It does not matter. Does not matter about your age.
She is older than you. Listen, I have taught you that much respect.
Dad. No, sir.
Good boy.
I will get the mom voice out.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
It doesn't matter about age, whether you're older, whether you're younger. If you're willing to be that support for somebody, that's all that matters. That's the only thing that matters.
I mean, you are the teen in the teen support group. Hello.
I'm the dad of my friend group.
I was that way too. I was the mom of the friends. I've got kids that are older than I am.
Well,
the
hardest part for me, I think that the one thing that has made me cry, and I guess it is surviving, is when my son comes home from school and he lays down on the bed and he says, "Mom, I need to vent." And I'm like, "Okay." He says, "Why are teenagers such assholes?" And I'm like,
seriously though.
Okay, well, what happened? He was like, "I'm sitting at lunch today, and one of my friends is going on and on and on about fighting with his dad this morning before school. And I finally had enough. And I palmed the table as loud as I could. And I said, at least you got to fucking fight with him. You should feel lucky. I've never gotten to fight with my dad. I don't even remember my dad. So you need to shut the hell up, go home and apologize, and hug your dad.
I think that was the day that people started being scared of me.
And I was like, I sat there, and I was like, and like he's got tears going down his face. And he says, "Mom, I just wish I had one fight with him. Just one." And like, it's like,
oh, honey, you can still fight with him. I fight with my mom still because I know what she would say to me. So I argue with her because, I've still got to be right.
I get the absolute shit smacked out of me for stuff I do.
Well, somebody, asked me, because I posted a picture. I think it was spring break, and he's sitting on the floor. He asked me, "Mom, can I go out and just sit out there for a minute by myself?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And we were at his dad's grave in Texas. He says, "Can you turn the radio?"
No,
up?
it was over Christmas because
no, it was spring break because we were out there for break. And I said,
yeah.
I turned the radio up as loud as we could, not deathly, cause hearing impairment.
I yelled at him.
And he's out there
was
yelling,
so mad.
See his face yelling. And I snapped a picture of it. And I said, why? This is not right. A child should not have to have a one-sided argument.
I think that was the first time I ever yelled until I cried and until my voice was gone.
But Blake, did it help?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what you need to do. Sometimes that's what you need to do. Sometimes you just need to yell and scream and get it off your chest. It's not all about crying. It's not all about talking calmly. Sometimes you just got to lose your shit.
Well, and
That's why I'm so thankful for my new position in JRTC, because when I need to yell, I can use my voice.
And I told him, I said, you don't have to be at his grave to yell at him. He's everywhere. The wonderful thing about him being dead is he can be right there in your bedroom. You don't have to go to any specific spot. And
Yeah.
I made him laugh because I was like, I go to the garage because that's where he's hanging out.
I miss our
Back on track.
You know, I mean,
You were in ROTC, Timmy?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was squad leader.
Nice.
And I was on the rifle. I had 4 years.
this is Blake's senior year and number 4 for him, and I've never been more proud.
Year number 4, and I ranked up to sergeant major at the beginning of the year.
Oh, there. You
And
I never got any higher in sergeant.
funny thing about it, last year I started the year off as a corporal. I made it all the way up to sergeant first class by the end of that year. And then this year, I technically wasn't supposed to have sergeant major because the guy that was originally going for it got the position and then left JROTC. And I was the runner-up for that position. I took it with great respect and stuff like that, and I took it under my wing. And my chain of command all treated me like dog crap because I wasn't the original person that was supposed to be in that position. My chain of command and even though they did that for the first few weeks and stuff like that, I still did my best, make sure I did what I needed to get done. Even if nobody listened to me, I made sure I got my stuff done and stuff like that. And I basically had to work my way back up. And it was frustrating.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to gain people's respect.
Yeah.
No matter how much they like you or hate you, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, they'll come. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of elbow grease and some kind words to get things back on track. But I was willing to put in the work and make sure that I got everything done. And heck, for the staff meets and stuff like that, I was one of the few people that was trying to keep everything on track, as I know we needed to get stuff done. And they were all talking about, this or that and the other. And, I was going through and I was trying to make sure everybody understood what we were supposed to be doing. And, staff meets are still a mess, but I still trying to put in that, extra effort and stuff like that to make sure that everything gets done. Because I know...
Hi, Brutus.
Brutus ain't in the hotel.
I thought that was him barking.
No, that was Gunner. But yeah, I put work in time and time again, trying to make sure everything's all right, and things are going a lot smoother. And I went from being basically nothing and put in a lot of work, even though I could have just sat there and I could have just let it, stay low. But I wanted to make something out of myself and be able to help people. I didn't want to be the scary sergeant major, but if I needed to be, I could do that. I don't like to do it, but I'm willing to make sacrifices and do stuff that I hate in order to make sure that everything goes better and make sure that everybody understands. And I know I scare some of the, lower enlisted because I look on paper, I look like an absolute hard ass. In person, I look like a giant teddy bear. And they don't understand that.
But you are a giant teddy bear.
I am. But they don't see that because either I'm in the back helping with the officers and stuff like that because I'm on staff, or I'm out there yelling at them because nobody wants to yell at them and make sure they understand what's going on and why they're being yelled at. So they only really see, the hard side on me. And I know that's not the best for, my leadership and stuff like that, but some things you got to learn as you go. And I've tried my best. But yeah, things you just got to put elbow grease on.
You must be doing something right.
I sure
I'm
hope.
trying to. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Chat got really quiet all of a sudden.
I know. Well,
It really did.
The problem is we lost Facebook and then it's coming back, but I'm looking at it on Facebook. I'm shocking people right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it because we've been talking for an hour and a half now.
Okay.
I do want everybody here. I know, Timmy, I know you know this because you know all of our services are free. And you know that they are for everyone. Michelle, I think you knew. I hope you know that because you've heard me say it a lot. Blake
Yes.
knows that, and of course Matt knows that because he kind of helped me do this. To everyone who is still watching, hopefully, I don't know who all is still watching. I may have to have Blake or Michelle reiterate because I don't think they can hear.
It's free. Use the service.
Everything is
888-484-3221. Reach out. There's
Please
always someone willing to talk to you.
Hopefully that we have fixed our calling snafu and it is finally picked up because we have been trying it for the past 2 days. Know that you are not alone. Timmy, you are more than what call anytime you want. Michelle, I think you even have my own viable home line. If you don't, I'm giving it to you when we get off of here. The other two people live with me, so walk across the damn hall or yell.
The same goes for y'all. I'm gonna hurt you, boy. Same goes for y'all.
And please, anyone, Jason, Lori, Tiffany, if you do not call me Tiffany, I am liable to hunt you down.
Gotti, everybody.
Tess, I can make her talk to you.
Everyone,
Can make
please,
it happen.
no, you are not alone.
That sounds questionable.
We are here. We are on all social medias. Please use us. I'm gonna buy. You know what? I'm gonna make this. If 10 people by the end of October join our backpack buddy, new people join our backpack buddies program by the end of October, I will buy me a pimp hat with the feather and I will wear it on TikTok Live.
Okay, so you're going to have to explain. I don't know about the backpack buddy.
Okay, so the backpack buddy is basically like pen pals. Only for the new generation.
I'm one of the teen people for it.
Kind of like a sponsor for college.
Yeah, it's basically you get someone who will call you, text you, check up on you. You can call them, text them, whatever you all agree on. daily, weekly, just keep in contact that you have a basically long distance friendship with. And they help you through the muck and mire so that you have a friendship with someone who you've never met. It's basically pen pals for the new
Oh wait, so
era.
it's like all
The
of
new
y'all.
age.
Yeah, only you may not know what their face looks like. So yeah,
Because
it's
I've
kind of
never
like
met any of you.
I've never, exactly.
Who are you?
But you can
Who
also
are you? Where
you
did you
can
come
also
from?
Who's your
get
daddy and
into
what
the
does he
deep
do?
trenches. They also
His name is Harley, and he's in construction.
you also are going to have a commonality of they will probably have depression or anxiety. They will have a mental health problem similar to what you have. So they can help you walk that gamut together.
Cool.
Ta-da! We also have coffee with a stranger, which is
Ooga
kind of like
booga.
counseling once a
Coffee.
week that you can sit down and have
Coffee.
coffee and a conversation. You buy your own coffee, they buy their own coffee, and you sit down and you talk to them.
Coffee.
Yeah,
Coffee.
you
Yes.
come up here and you can
Oh,
have coffee
sorry.
with me, and I'll
That's
buy
the
Starbucks.
magic word. Coffee is a magic word with me.
Oh,
It's the
coffee.
gift
Potato
of life.
salad is my magic word.
See, Matt's is not.
Timmy doesn't like coffee.
Yeah, see, just see Matt's face.
Timmy's a nerd.
Matt's magic word is not, and I'm sure Timmy's is either Mountain Dew or Monster.
Mountain Dew and Monster.
Not
Called
monster.
it.
It's both.
Not monster.
Have you tried the new Voodoo, Timmy?
No, I haven't.
Matthew has. He loves it.
They're bringing back the real sugar Mountain Dews in a can. I love it. Even though it tastes like flat Mountain Dew. Just
Yeah, I don't.
carbonated.
And did you know? Here's a fun fact: Mountain Dew was actually developed to mix with whiskey.
Yeah.
It wasn't whiskey.
No
it
wonder
was
you
shine.
like it, Timmy.
It was meant to be mixed with shine because it was made up in the hills of Tennessee, which is where all the shine makers were.
That's why they make Dew Shine.
That's why if you ever look at the really old Mountain Dews, the old Mountain Dew mascot used to be this, basically Prospector Pete, and he had a big one of the big shine jugs.
Did Penny just get flowers?
Maybe.
Penny just got flowers.
Yeah, they're Petey too. See, this is how I know that Blakey's girlfriend loves me more than she loves him. Matt's like, damn.
Matt, you better step up your game, honey.
Matt doesn't buy me flowers. He buys me unicorns.
I heard about corns.
He buys me other gifts that I can actually,
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Not
La
that
la
gift.
la la.
Not those.
He bought me a phone case. It came with a matching watch
Which are mine out of the gutter.
and a pair of shoes that matched the watch in the phone case.
Aww.
Go to horny
Plus,
jail.
he puts up with my obsessive compulsive makeup addiction.
At least he's got a pretty.
Yeah, at least I can go from like trash can to CEO in 45 minutes.
I'm just here, man.
It only took me 20.
Okay, I have to do a lot more. Okay.
It took me 0, but I still look like trash.
Man, I in 20 minutes I helped the 6-year-old with his homework and put my face on.
See, mine needs spackle.
All in the 20 minutes the 9-year-old was doing his reading.
I need spackle and paint.
I've got everything on. I've got base, I've got powder, I've got toner, I've got moisturizer, eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, lipstick, gloss.
She's just got one of those robots that has the like buffer pad. It just from
I just
Wall-E.
get it done. It's like, okay, I'm done.
See, I am not that good, and I am working with a deficit. I cannot see the entire side of my face.
She's got the makeup robot from Wall-E. Just
I wish that I could do the wings, because I can't do the wings with the eyeliner. Because maybe then Wally could help me with that, you know?
I'm going to have Blake do me up in it makeup for Halloween.
Just don't let anybody who's scared of clowns see you.
I'm going to make this look like a domestic dispute.
No,
oh my Lord.
Pa, watch out.
Don't forget the wooden spoon.
So, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, Michelle and Timmy. You guys know my one of my volunteers, Josh, right? O'Neill.
All right.
So
my computer's starting to act wonky.
Okay, I love you, Blake. Matt, if you
love
want
you too.
I'm going to go ahead and end this because I know we've got everybody trying to get off here. I'm going to end the broadcast, but you guys can stay on here. We can still talk.
Okay.